You bet. Looks like we're ready to go.
Why can't I? Interesting. There we go. Couldn't see what I was looking at. All right, so to pick back up on budgets out of my department, we'd gotten through everything but general fund. And we got through a couple general funds, so we was up to streets. So in 2023, our budget was $1,667,000 and some change. And we got a new work truck with a canap bed. We did, early in the year, we did some pedestrian bike overpass engineering. And then we went and got that grant, and that should be picking back up here in the next month or so. We repaved the streets over in Terra subdivision, Dogwood, Cottonwood, Birch Court. We rebuilt Eagles Nest Court up in Eagles View, and we did the 500 block of Main Street finally, and have that done. So for next year, if
And these numbers, that's including the grants, right? Or no? The 1.667?
that's just expenditures.
Okay,
But yeah, so any grant we got went towards them expenditures.
okay.
But the numbers I'm giving you is just what we're gonna expend out of the budget. I
Okay,
don't,
sorry to interrupt.
no, you're fine. So next year, we are going to, our 2024 budget's gonna be $2,333,950. We're hoping to get a plow work truck. We're gonna try to get Mesa View chipped and sealed. A lot of this, we had to put in the TAP grant that we are receiving for the bike ped overpass. So that whole project, not that we'll probably expend it all in 2024, but that's 1.2 million of this. We did pull the ped bike out of some others too, but the majority of it's coming out of the streets budget. And that's where the TAP grant's going in. We're gonna try to do Home Avenue west of First Street to finish out Terra subdivision. We was on to do that this year, but it's gonna take some engineering to get drainage right, and we're gonna try to continue the sidewalk to First Street to where it ends right there before you get to Birch, so there's a sidewalk to walk all the way into Terra subdivision.
Oh, nice.
We're gonna look at the 1300 block of Ballard. We have some major parking issues there as well as drainage issues. So we might get some curb gutter and sidewalk through there to help with drainage issues. And also, we gotta look at right-of-ways because there is a partial sidewalk in there on the east side of this, but it is like 5 feet, not where it's supposed to be. It could be pushed back 5 feet and make that street wider. Because if the way people park down there, it's hard to drive down there, let alone get a fire truck or a snowplow or anything else down through there. And then also we are working on the crosswalks on Main Street. We got to do a couple more counts and then we'll hopefully get CDOT's approval. So issues, concerns, increased traffic volume, increased material costs, because both of them are going up at about the same pace, it seems like. And then staff retention, which is, you always worry about losing staff here or there.
Yeah. Yeah, that 1300 block of Ballard, yeah, that has needed some improvements for years, so that's really nice to
Yes.
work on that.
Is everybody on board with what Trey was talking about, the crosswalks on Main Street, down around the post office, trying to make that happen?
And get some
I was
lights
just
at
assuming
7th
throughout
Street.
the whole corridor there, but, so it's
Well,
just,
currently, we're working on trying to get 7th Street and the post office crossing. Get the information collected and get it to CDOT.
oh, okay. And that'll be, with the flashing,
Yeah, trying to
Lighted
get
ones.
like flashing lights, especially at 7th.
Yeah, nice.
And then down at the post office, we'll have to build an island that's too wide. We'll have to have a refuge in the middle. So you cross one side, go to the refuge, take a break, and continue on.
Nice.
Trey, this budget increase is quite large compared to some of the other ones. Is it because of the bike ped overpass?
Yes.
Being factored in, that's the difference?
Yeah, because that was a $900,000 grant. And I believe that is all is shown in the general fund budget of receiving that. So it's got to be expended out to the same budget.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yep.
And I had a real quick question. This Euro drone photo video, how much does that cost the town? I didn't know if that's,
He hasn't
that's,
They haven't charged us.
okay.
They
I
have
was
it
just
for
curious.
free.
I didn't know if that's something that needed to go out to bid or anything, but yeah, if they
No,
haven't
they-
charged us.
They're just trying to get their name out there, and they took some photos
Oh,
for us to
okay,
use.
nice, nice.
So, okay, any other questions on streets? All right, parks. In 2023, our budget was 232,000. We did park shelters at Eagles View, Flying Eagle, veterans. In the preserve. I had to stop and think. And we did some improvements to community and Flying Eagle with irrigation. So we didn't do a lot out of that, budget other than maintenance and the regular stuff, mowing, weed eating, taking care of the irrigation. There wasn't a lot of big projects. The big projects that were done in parks came out of like the park impact fee and the construction impact. So for 2024, the budget's $1,492,000, and the majority of that is the community park rebuild, which will be pending a Great Outdoors Colorado grant. So 1.2 million of that would be for community park. And we're going through the process now of our first drafts due Thursday, and then we'll see if we make it past the first step and then continue on with the grant. If we get the grant, we won't see the grant until March of next year is when it'll be awarded and be available for spending. So that 1.2 of that is for community, and obvious, if we don't get the grant, we're not gonna expend 1.2 million. The grant's gonna be right around 900,000 if we get the grant. Will be GOCO funds, and then, what is that, 400,000? 300,000 would come out of the parks budget.
Yeah.
We've got to redo the basketball goal in Spruce Meadows and the asphalt in Spruce Meadows. That goal's about ready to fall over. We're going to try to get the paths done in Mesa View Park. And then we need to get all the trees trimmed in Eagles View Park, like we did in Veterans this year. And then issues, concerns, again, staff retention, that's probably everybody. And then underutilized parks, we have a few that are just, they're not used for what they should be used for, and we've talked about that at the subcommittee level and such, so.
Yeah, like that one
Working.
at 16th and M, where it's kind of that weird jog in the property.
Well, and not only that, hairpin parks back there that we can't get to.
Yeah, hairpin, yeah.
Because
that's
it's
the one.
landlocked.
Yeah,
So we're gonna reach out, we're talking about reaching out to the people that own that other property about a land swap again, see if they might have changed their mind. Because if we can just land swap with them, they can have Hairpin Park, and we get that little section at the corner of 16th and M, and we got that lot. it'd be a buildable lot or whatever right
Nice,
there.
yeah, that would be nice to,
So we're gonna try to reach out to them again. They haven't, in the past, they haven't been willing to do a land swap or talk with us about it, but we'll see.
never know. And I had a real quick question, not on budget, but you know, the picture of Mesa View Park with the rubberized, how well does that winter? Is there any frost heave or anything?
Nope.
Or does it, oh,
It-
nice,
I was
okay.
up there, checked it a couple times after winter and throughout the summer, and you can't, it's not heaving, it's not moving, it's holding up quite well at the moment.
Nice.
So,
You better check it tomorrow after you just said that.
yeah, I'm sure. The biggest issue we had up there that, I let the HOA know up there, and they were going to bring it up in their meeting. One of my guys went up there to mow him. When he got out of the truck, there was a kid with a shovel trying to pry one of them up. Trying to get down in between the two
Uh-huh.
tiles and pry up a tile. And he took off when he noticed the Town of Silt truck pulled up. So, they were gonna do some outreach to
Yeah, make
Have
sure
people-
that, yeah.
watch their kids and not tear things up. So the last one here, Public Works Vehicle Maintenance, that's the shops.
How come it looks like SpongeBob's flipping us off? Sorry. I just, from a distance, it looks like,
I had to put that one in there because Joe's always giving me a hard time when I'm at these meetings, so I figured I'd
Turnabout's fair play.
turnabout's fair play. And we had put that in the newsletter that a celebrity stopped by the Town of Silt.
oh,
So, anyway, the 2023 budget, 47,850. We put new lights in both shops. They're way better. We put in LED strips, and we've got them lights shining pretty good. And the 2024 budget, 47,000. And we're looking to buy a jackhammer attachment to go on the end of the skid steer for breaking up stuff. And that takes care of all my budgets. And then the fund balances, that might have changed. This was done a month ago, and that was projected fund balances, you know, based off what we spent, what was left. But that could have possibly changed in the last month or so.
Well, and I really, when we first started this, I had expected and asked Trey to put this in here. We expected Amy to be here to talk about this tonight. And she's dealing with some family issues, so I was, so we're not ready to talk about this. We'll bring this back in 3 weeks' time, and we'll have a really robust conversation about fund balances and basically a review of the entire budget that you've heard. So hopefully we're not gonna get through everything tonight, but we'll finish up everything in the work session then, and then we'll do a recap, and then we'll talk fund balance, and we'll talk, hopefully we'll know more about HH and other important topics by then.
But that'll give you a general idea of where we were at and how we figured fund balances about a month ago.
nice.
Can we
And
jump back to streets real quick?
Yeah,
1300 block of Ballard, you were talking about we could move a sidewalk back 5 feet. Do the property owners know that the sidewalk can move back 5 feet?
the two that I have talked to realize that their property pin is like 5 feet back from where that sidewalk is.
Okay.
And that's another one that we're gonna have, we've gotta get it to engineering
Yeah.
because of the drainage and stuff, so we'll figure out exactly what we're gonna do there.
Okay. I think that's all I have, except for on the overpass, pedestrian overpass, let's not pay for logos and stones on the side of the columns.
Actually smell.
I know,
That's
I'll disagree with you
I love
on
this
that
one.
one. But, that's just me.
I mean, it looks great, but wasted dollars.
Well, some of that will come down to CDOT's requirements
Yeah.
as well.
Which is stupid. If they want to require it, they should pay for it.
Yeah,
That's.
Choke over there.
If you're required to wear a uniform to work, your work supplies you that uniform. If they want birds and stones on their pylons, then they can put them there.
But see,
So here
they
comes
spent,
Sheila.
they spent 47,000 on new lighting. That means they don't need a new shop, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
We'll move that lighting to the new shop.
And we didn't spend 47,000
Sorry, I know.
say.
on just lights.
Lights, yeah.
That for someone to stand there and hold the lights? Is that a salary? What's going on?
We put in some tanning beds.
Lights.
Lights, yeah.
That's the last
It counts as a light, right? Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Sheila's just itching to go.
I'm just can't wait. Okay, so I'm here to go over my budget. So the Office of the Town Clerk, this year we had budgeted 114,000 plus. That amount would cover myself, and then I also have Lori, my deputy, who's part of her duties are assigned to the clerk's budget, and then she's dispersed out through the treasurer as well. And I'm sure you all know what I do because you read my staff report, but these are kind of like the top 6 items. I spend a lot of time preparing for these meetings that we have tonight, gathering packet material from everybody, putting it together, sending it out, following up on the meetings once they've happened. That involves not only transcribing the minutes, but taking all the documents and taking them the full length that they need to go if I'm part of that process, whether it's executing them and getting them recorded, getting them to other staff members to execute, just making sure that all the loose ends are tied up. I'm also assist with the preparation of ordinances and resolutions. You're going to see a lot of ordinances coming before you here in the near future that myself and all the department heads will be working on to help clean up the town code. And then I also take care of the publication of public notices for those items that do require it by state statute. Other parts of my job include cemetery management. I work with Trey and Joe on preparing for funerals, if you will. We go up and we locate graves for burials, for headstones, any number of things. Records management is a key part of the job too, to take everything that comes before the town and the board and it goes to its appropriate place, whether it's there again being recorded or just filed in our archive system. Liquor and marijuana licensing is a key role of the clerk that I have pawned off on Lori now that she's here. So that's taken a huge load off of my table and she's getting well versed in that as we move along. I act as your designated election clerk and I work with the codification of ordinances. Once an ordinance is passed before you guys, then I send it on to the appropriate company who codifies it and puts it in our code book. I do a lot of research for any number of people, staff-wise, from Jeff and Trey to the attorney, whoever needs to find something that happened in the past. And then my other role is municipal court clerk. So, and then as we always joke, we have other duties as assigned, which can vary from administering oaths for those people who are to be sworn in, any board members, P&Z members, and the appropriate staff according to state statute, along with customer service that I can be notarizing for people as well that come in and need that service. I act as the town's heyday liaison, so I do any number of duties there from preparing for heyday to working heyday to cleaning up after heyday. And then lots and lots of miscellaneous like all of us have on our plates. The deputy who is under the town clerk budget, as I said, she handles the liquor and marijuana licensing. She also assists me with preparing the board packets and will do them in my absence if I ever take a vacation, which I actually did for the first time this year during a board meeting. So she assists with the record management. She's helping me to get things caught up that have been kind of put on the back burner for years and years, even before I started here. My plan is to continue training with her to teach her everything I do so she can easily step in my shoes whenever I'm not here or when I finally leave. And then also to support her in getting her certification so that she can attend the appropriate classes to make that happen. Any questions yet? Are you awake?
No, we're awake. Hey, is that picture of you right there after Jeff hands you all that work?
Yeah, you've seen my desk sometimes.
That's actually
There's days that-
Cole's work.
Oh, okay.
There's days it feels like that, trust me. So the accomplishments I would say from this office this year has been having that addition of deputy clerk has helped in many ways I can't even explain. Having the necessary equipment to do our jobs, it makes life so much easier and we can accomplish tasks much faster as well. And then the best thing is that we have now a full staff. So having the needed people up front has helped us all to be able to do our jobs and maybe have a little more time to do them and not rush through things and miss anything. So that has been a tremendous help having our fourth person on board here. So the general fund for the town clerk for next year, we're proposing 138,000 plus budget. It's a 21% increase, which basically comes from the addition of bringing the deputy on, the salary and benefits with her and myself, and then the educational opportunities that both of us will jump into this next year. Along with Lori, she really will be taking more classes to help get that certification. So our goals and objectives to continue updating the municipal code. We're going to see, like I said, you're going to see a lot more ordinances coming before you here in the near future because we're doing a lot of housekeeping on the code. So once we get past the water plant here, we can have a little more time to focus on getting those things back to the front burner. We always focus on relaying information to the public. It's been a primary focus of ours here the last few years is to really do our best to try and get information out so no one can say they had no idea. I will continue to train with Lori to show her everything that's going on up here and to make sure that she gets the education she needs. And then we will be purchasing an additional fireproof cabinet this year because we've outgrown our other ones to help save and protect those things that are permanent and need to be kept under lock and key. Now, the municipal court. Budget for that this year was $68,450. So that money covers not only myself, but my deputy, which is also our utility billing clerk. Part of her salary is allocated to that. That covers the cost of the judge, our prosecutor, our interpreter, and then a public defender if necessary, which we don't utilize that often, which is good. The duties of municipal clerk, I administer the monthly court dockets for both the juveniles and adult cases. And that basically starts by the data entry of every ticket that the officers write into municipal court that I receive from the police department. Once they go into the software, I follow that case through until it is closed. That could be within days, it could be weeks, it could be years. So it's just a constant eye on everything that's gone through and making sure all the boxes are checked and they're taken through to the end as they need to go. I can run various reports for anyone who needs that information on various charges that run through the municipal court, whether it's traffic, any traffic charges, speeding, DURs, licenses, what have you, misdemeanors, dog at larges, barking dogs, harassment, juvenile tickets, and then parking as well. And then I, in my free time, assist the police department in a variety of different ways. That can be anywhere from ordering business cards to cell phones to helping out with the bike rodeo and ordering the goodies that go out to the kids on an annual basis in their bags that you've probably seen the kids get when you come to our functions. Accomplishments of the clerk, this office, basically we did get a new court software at the end of last year around December, so we're continuing to fine stream that and get that utilized to the best of its ability. This year so far, we've actually processed close to 300 tickets. I'm guessing by the year end, we might be closer to 350 or so. So we've had a busy court this year. Sometimes we don't even reach that 300 mark. So the guys have been busy out there, guys and gals. I just prepared an ordinance for collections. You will see that on your next agenda. That will allow us the opportunity to, those tickets that we can't collect on, people move, ignore, whatever the case, we can turn those into collections and then get some assistance to get money back on that. The ordinance will also allow for the town to utilize that service as well, whether it's something that we can't lien a property on, but we could go ahead and send that item to collections, possibly an AR account or accounts receivable where we're trying to collect from a developer or something. About a year ago, we started utilizing TextMyGov to notify our defendants on a monthly basis of their upcoming court dates. That has been a tremendous help. I have my deputy send that note out, about 5 days before court, and it really triggers people to either remember to come to court or to just pay the ticket and get off the docket so we don't even have to worry about them coming in. We've also started utilizing DMV to go. That's been good. We've had a good turnout on that. I would say any given month, on average, 10 to 20 people will show up for that. That not only benefits the citizens in the whole area, not just Silt, but it benefits the courts as well, because our judge can use that as a tool for people who come to court because they were stopped and didn't have their license or something to do with their license. She will order them to meet with DMV to go to help move their process through the courts quicker. So that's been a really good thing. And then having my new deputy court clerk, she's done really great and picked up the process really easily. So next year we propose a $59,650 budget. That is a decrease, and that's mainly because the prosecutor we have now has streamlined his side of it so well that his cost has gone down, which is great. We love that. So the goals and objectives is to just continue to monitor our fee schedule. The board had recently talked about, increasing fines for speeding to see if that helps. So we are going to be bringing our fee resolutions to you before the end of the year that will note a increase in speeding fines to see if that's where we want to go with that before it's approved. We continue to monitor the code to make sure that we are, following the current practices for the courts and the PD as well. And so I'm assisting with any ordinances that need to be written on that end. And then just to continue to train the deputy on the court system so she can jump in at any time as well. Questions there?
No questions for me. You're doing an awesome job. That's a whole lot. And we thank you so much, Sheila. You do it wonderfully. So great job.
Thank you very much. So the last item I'm going to go over with is the Victims Assistance Fund. It's the fund that we collect a surcharge on all tickets that go through the municipal courts, the 37% surcharge. It goes into a separate fund for victims of crime. These people, if they've had something stolen or damaged and they don't know who the perpetrator is, they can apply for this money to help recoup some of their costs in that. We still struggle to get people to fill out applications, but on the same token, I don't think we've had a whole lot, I don't know, and Chief Kite could maybe weigh in here. I don't know if we've had a whole lot of problems lately to where it's even come into play. But our budget is pretty static here to where the revenues, we're proposing the same revenue as last year for the upcoming year, and the same with the expenditures. Even though the expenditures are a little more, it's basically because that fund was built up so high and we haven't been able to utilize it, get people to use it. So we're finding other means that qualify to assist other people who can utilize that that funding as well. And that's it for me.
Well, thank you, Sheila.
You're welcome.
Do you have a full veil board?
We do have a full bail board,
Nice.
yes. No meetings, but we have a full bail board.
Probably no meetings for what, 6 months, was it?
Probably
Better
pretty
than
close to that,
Yeah, that's
Been a
very
while.
good.
yeah. Might have
Good
been
about that
spring when
too.
we had one.
I said the good thing about that fund is that it also, even if they know who did it, if it's like going through the courts or whatever, they can get the money from that to cover their deductible to get their thing fixed, and they don't have to wait until it all gets taken care of. When that person pays the restitution goes to the bail fund. So that way the victim isn't having to wait on that whole process.
Nice.
Correct.
Sheila, you mentioned, under your town clerk's responsibilities, updating the Silt Municipal Code. And you mentioned a
Yes.
couple of times that there were some ordinances that were gonna come before the board. What are we up to now, numbers-wise?
I think we're at like 72 things
that's
we've
what it
jotted
is.
down that need attention, and we're gonna review the code on and work on changing some language that's more current practice. Some of our ordinances are still from maybe the 80s or 90s, and we've kind of changed a little bit since then. So a lot of those ordinances will be handled by not only myself, but Trey and Nicole will have a big part in those. Nicole's already brought Title 15 to you, which was a huge accomplishment there. So just having that out of the way, that'll open up some time for some other things now, right, Nicole?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought.
But we do have a few on the PD side too that we'll be working with to get to you.
I thought it was 73, but who's counting?
Yeah, oh, I missed it by one. I'm so sorry.
73, and you're gonna retire in a couple years? You're gonna be,
I wish it was a couple of years. Depends upon how long Jeff talks me into staying.
Be nice to her.
I keep twisting those arms.
Show me the money.
I really like the contingency plans of like training people for when someone is out. I really appreciate that. I know it does take a little more energy, but it's a good operating way to have the town function on. So I congratulate you guys for taking that initiative.
I'm so happy we've
Have
made that
someone to-
step. It's been many, many years since I've even had a deputy, let alone someone who could step in and do the job while I was gone. So this has been, a
Good.
tremendous step forward.
It's very good.
We'll get to keep her a couple more years that way.
Maybe so.
Maybe 5,
Yeah.
5'8", Sheila.
maybe.
12.
What's that? 12 more? Come on.
Oh, that's
You
a no,
pushed.
the 12.
Wow.
Okay, Sheila, they
Widen my door for a walker. Jeez.
just love you that much here, so.
Add that to your list, Trey, of things to do.
Okay.
Make sure her office is ADA compliant.
Yeah, exactly. No kidding.
Okay, I think we're ready for
Nicole.
community development,
Alrighty.
or at least part of community development tonight, right?
Yes, we're actually going through this a little faster than I thought we were going to, so. But I'm bringing recreation and events to you first tonight. We have a mix of staffing and contracted services in our department. But I put our teamwork makes the dream work because we all work really close in hand together and would not be able to accomplish what we do without each other. So there's myself, and then Dusty is the ComDev admin assistant, and Angela Wagner is our new community service officer. And then our contracted services include Planner Chain and Shums Coda, which is represented by Dan Reardon, who comes and does inspections for us and does the majority of our plan reviews as well. And so with recreation, the 23 budget was $63,000. And the town does offer a variety of youth sports. and facility and park rentals, what it takes to run these programs and offer rental facilities is the advertisement, enrollment, management, equipment, uniforms, field gym, facility maintenance, game officials, safety protocols and policies, staff, and volunteers.
Hungry?
And then the 23 youth sports and facility rentals. What we had this year was 3rd and 4th, as well as 5th and 6th grade boys basketball that runs from January to March. We had 47 participants in that. We also offered the Little Dribblers 1st and 2nd grade basketball, which is an introduction program to helping the kiddos learn how to dribble. They're still a little bit young to shoot on hoops and make something happen there, but we're just doing the basic foundation to build on. And we did that one from January to February. And we had 48 participants in that one and ended up needing to do a couple different sessions because that one was higher enrollment than what we initially thought it was going to be. Then we transitioned into spring soccer, which runs from April to May, and we had 87 participants in that. We did jump into T-ball and coach pitch after. From June to July, we had a lower enrollment in that. And since we're not an actual rec department, I try to stagger the sports so that we're not overlapping too much, so I don't have too many things going on at once. That has proven for the second year in a row to be a mistake for baseball. So we are going to have to go on ahead and start that in the beginning of May like our neighboring towns do, so that our enrollment is not so low. And we've gotten a lot of feedback from the community that they would like to see us start it at the same time that the other towns started, because they didn't realize that they could join ours separate from what the other ones were doing. They just figured we weren't offering it. So so that's going to be one that we're going to have to live and learn and make sure that we're offering it at the same time and enrollment at the same time, so that our community knows that we're also offering T-ball and coach pitch. And we've used that as a stair-stepper program where last year we offered T-ball, this year we did T-ball and coach pitch combined. And then this upcoming year, we're looking to add the 8 to 10 baseball, which will be part of more of a league play. It'll be a little bit more competitive. And then we transitioned into fall soccer, and this season we have 84 participants. That starts in August, and we are just about to wrap up this week with games under the lights up at Stony Ridge, which the kiddos think is really fun. We, speaking of overlapping, our fall soccer and girls basketball does overlap as well. And so the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade basketball started practices a couple weeks ago, and they had their first weekend of games this last weekend, and that will go to December 2nd for their tournament play. And then we also do town facility rentals, which is park rentals and the town center rentals. And we've had 207 park rentals year to date, and then 99 town center rentals year to date. The proposed budget for '24 increases by 8%, and that increase is because we are looking to expand our baseball programming to include the 8 to 10-year-old league, as well as we've also had, and it's very preliminary in discussion, but we've had a lot of interest in girls volleyball league, which would overlap with fall soccer as well. And we've had a couple of coaches and parents asking why they're going to Newcastle to play volleyball when they could potentially play it at Cactus Valley. So that's all open for discussion of what we want to do there. We are launching our online enrollment platform and transitioning to a primary registration being online that will launch here. I have a meeting with Sports Connect tomorrow, and we're looking to launch that for the boys basketball enrollment that's going to be opening up in the next couple of weeks. That boys basketball won't actually start until January, but the enrollment is everybody else is launching, so it's time for us to launch too. We are also, as far as goals, we're looking to increase participation, additional advertising, and aligning with programs of what the neighboring towns are doing will help us keep our enrollment higher with the programs that are just starting off and not as established as some of our primary sports that we've had established in Silt, such as soccer. I'm also looking to do additional training for coaches and support for coaches, including coaching education materials and additional equipment. I did go take a training it was a training that CIRSA, our insurance company, was offering in Grand Junction. And that additional training is something that we need to put into policy and open. We do currently do the trainings that they were speaking of, such as safe sport and concussion protocol trainings. We do that with our coaches, but I need to develop a policy to where that's in writing. And then currently I have them using our safe sport training that the soccer club actually uses. So I want to make sure we establish one that's through the town, for the town, and Safe Sport has become a really large and relevant training that everybody needs to go through. So I want to make sure we get that information out. And that's an abuse training that touches on what's safe to do as a coach, what's not safe to do. Like, don't put yourself in a position to be in a car alone with a child or giving a child a ride by themselves, or in a bathroom or a gym. We have a lot of policies that we've developed around our sports and our coaches to protect everybody, because there is a lot of allegations of abuse, and there is unfortunately a lot of abuse that does take place. So we're taking all preventative measures that we can to ensure that the town is protected and that the citizens are protected, our coaches, our volunteers are protected, and the children are protected. So that's all additional training and support that we're going to be continuing to encourage and implement through our sports this upcoming year.
All coaches are volunteers?
They are. Yes, the only paid positions that we have within the programming are the refs. We pay the officials. And then issues and concerns. I know we've talked about this many times. We are tight on indoor gym space. The district did get a new coordinator, and she has been amazing to work with. We've been able to secure the gym space that we need for this season of basketball, and we've already pre-secured the gym space for the boys season and the Little Dribbler season. So she's working with us and really making waves to help us get recreation indoor space, which is greatly appreciated. But as we know, you could always use more. She's helping us, and the district has been great to partner with. There's always just a need for more as we continue to grow our programs. Outdoor field space, it's the same thing. We do have Camarillo Phase 2 that's putting in an additional sports field that will primarily be designated for soccer, but will be an open field that I'm hoping we can get additional use out of, because we have had people inquire about trying to put together like a little flag football program, or it's going to be nice to continue to grow outdoor field space, green space that we can allow other people to use for additional programming for the kiddos or for adults as well. Game official retention, that is a pretty big problem because everybody's shorthanded. It doesn't matter what sport it is. Referees and officials are a struggle because they're just not treated kind. And we do strive to stay with the current wages that our neighboring towns are doing. So during our basketball league meetings, we do sit down as a league and decide, okay, we all kind of need to be on the same page so that we all have opportunities to pull officials for our hosting weekends. And so we sit down and try to determine what, with everybody's budget, because that's tough. Everybody has a different budget. But we try to stay really close in line with each other so that we can all find officials to ref during our hosting weekends with games. And then with soccer, we do a training. We have our program set up to where we have soccer officials that ref our micro games as a training program to get them ready and willing to get out there, blow a whistle, kind of shake off some of those nerves and be ready so that hopefully they continue to grow as referees or officials and continue to give back to the community regardless of what sport it is that they're going to step into and feel comfortable reffing. And then our other concern, as always, is just volunteer coaches that are aging out of our programs. We only get them for a short period of time when their kiddos are that age, but parents are busy and they're really not looking to coach a team that their kiddo's not on. So they kind of transition and move up with their kids as they go. And then we're just at a constant state of trying to replace and replenish volunteer coaches. So before we jump into events, does anybody have questions on recreation?
Officials and referees, I'm so sorry, I should have raised my hand.
No, you just go. You go for it.
Okay. My question is, referees and officials, do they have to get certifications to become referees or things?
They do not. So once our soccer program, we do it as a training program. So what we're doing is we're taking children between the ages of 10 and 12, and they're officiating the games. And so it's their first job, and they take it really serious, and they get super excited, and they have their uniform that says referee on it. And so we're also creating situations within the community that we're having the ability to instill hard work and a sense of pride and ownership of doing your first job like that. They cannot get certified to ref soccer until they're 13. So at that point, once they're old enough to get certified, then they can do higher level games. And then they transition out and they make a lot more money doing higher level games once they're certified. With basketball, the only certification that there is for basketball coach or basketball officials is high school. And so that's a whole different program. And we are not, with our league officials, we're not getting high school officials for what we're paying for referees. This is definitely more of like that stair stepper. We actually have a really amazing and fantastic coach that is also a high school official that lives in Sill and pours into our community. So she does ref for us and coach for us, and she's a community give back. She's also actually coaching soccer for us right now. So she's been amazing, but it's pretty difficult to get a high school ref to do a league game for like a quarter of the wage of what they would make doing high school games. And high school season is busy, and our referees are so short that they travel from Junction up to Aspen, out to Vale, and they could travel anywhere within that area, and they're busy every night of the week just trying to get high school games officiated. So there's no real certification outside of high school, and once they go through the process of doing that, we're gonna lose them for our league anyways.
Okay, do we do background checks for volunteers that volunteer for children's games?
We definitely do. Yep. So we background check everybody that's going to be involved with anything from referees to volunteer coaches. And our coaches know that even if they're, we had a soccer coach that her grandmother passed away and she had to go to a memorial, and the parent that was volunteering to help cover for her came in and got their paperwork done as well. So we're super strict on making sure that the trainings are there and that the background check is there and that we have their liability waiver signed and that we're dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that we're protecting everybody involved.
That's great. And my last question, I promise, we want to keep that volunteering spirit on, but if it comes to a dire stage, has it been a discussion to maybe make some of those right now volunteering positions, paid positions? Don't want to capitalize everything, but if it comes to like a very difficult situation where you guys are dealing with lacks of volunteer, has that been discussed?
That is not a conversation that
Not
we've
right now.
really had because we haven't gotten to that point that we were too desperate. I've had one season that I had to step in and coach a micro soccer team, which was great, and I ended up pulling a volunteer parent to do that season with me, and she's still coaching today. So sometimes it's just kind of shaking off some of those nerves. It can be nerve-wracking to coach if you're not quite sure, what that looks like. You just kind of have to have that mentorship, and we offer that. We offer that mentorship, and we offer programming that I have pre-done of here's how to put together a practice. Here's what you can do. Here's drills. So we have a lot of education and information, but it's never enough. Like, we can always do more. And so that's my goal, is to continue to
Inspire
just
those
build
parents.
our database of what we're helping our volunteer coaches with. And they are volunteer coaches, but what little we can do without increasing the budget significantly to pay all coaches is their children play for free. So that is a perk of volunteer. That's why I've volunteered to coach over all the years of I control my own schedule and I pick my practice days and times, and that way I can manipulate my schedule and make sure that, because I was coaching 3 kids at the same time, so I had 3 different age brackets going, and I had to make sure that I was able to control my schedule. And it's really wonderful when you don't have to pay for your kids to play, especially as they start getting into more competitive leagues. It gets expensive.
What I'm hearing is just a lot of pluses to emphasize once those parents get out there and volunteer. So that's all I have.
Yes.
I got like 3 questions. Are we the only community that does little dribblers?
We are, that's called that, yes.
Okay.
Newcastle does something that they call Little Hoopers.
Okay.
And that's a first and second. We're the only 2 out of our immediate area that does the younger age bracket.
Okay. And then what percent of the budget is covered by the fees we actually charge?
That is a good question. I might have to get back to you on that
Okay.
one.
I would like to know that, just to see where we're at. And then you already answered that the school's been a good partner
Yes.
to get us a gym space. Can we use that contact at
Say
the
it.
school
Go
to
ahead,
help,
say it.
help push on the Roy Moore?
I could
property?
definitely ask
Just-
her.
I mean, just drop a little hint every now and then, maybe, and just see, because that would be an amazing addition.
Remove the antique
It would.
storage space and turn
Space.
it into what it should be for.
What it's for, yeah.
I agree.
And then, what does it cost to certify a soccer coach? Like for the next level of reffing?
So to get certified, it's $90.
Okay,
And that happens through the Colorado Soccer Association, and which is the Colorado referee program through the Colorado Soccer Association. And so it's $90, and that covers the full year. And then once they get to that point, they're technically doing it more for the club side.
right.
And then the club purchases and buys a referee kit, and as like a thank you once they finish it, and gets them started with at least what they need to
do
to
it.
progress. Yes.
My thought there was if the town was paying for that certification, say if a kid refs for us for the 3 years before they can get certified, then the town then pays for their certification, just to help keep kids involved. Whether it's a town thing, whether that's something you have time to discuss personally with me, is fine.
Yeah.
But just to, if we can get those younger kids to commit to 2-3 years of their there's soccer to help keep coaches or keep refs. I mean, even I think some of those kids could probably coach micro soccer. I don't know. You know,
I know
so
that my oldest, she took in her senior year of high school, she coached a micro team as a community service thing to put on her college scholarships and
Yes.
stuff. And so that's maybe something when you go to the high school to recruit coaches,
yeah.
kids that maybe aren't playing anymore, but they still love the sport and want to give back. And it looks really good on a college scholarship and on some of those scholarship applications and stuff for that community service.
It does. You're right. Yeah, we've had a couple honor roll students that have coached, and I've given them on our letterhead the recommendation that they were and proof that they were volunteering with us. And Nevaeh that we honored last year, Nevaeh Williams, she was one of them that volunteered for a lot of different things, and that was actually something that helped her secure the Daniel scholarship.
yeah.
Yeah.
That one's huge.
It is huge, and she's pretty amazing. But we've tried really hard to partner with the school to try to create those opportunities as well, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do is help all the youth progress, especially in youth recreation, is just trying to keep everybody involved in community give back and keep them doing positive things.
Right. Yeah. That's all I've got.
Yeah, I think it's
Nicole?
wonderful that they're starting that young to be.
Nicole, do you want me to show the budget that shows the revenue from your recreation?
That would be great.
And yes, I was going to comment on the Roy Moore gym, but that's already been
Yes.
covered.
Page 35 of the packet.
It's on multiple lines there, so we'd have to add them all up to see.
Yeah.
It gives you a breakdown of each sport, it looks like.
Awesome. I'll go through and add that up and see.
Yeah. And that's not, for basketball, it should still be low because boys are getting ready to start enrollment as well. But soccer should be pretty accurate, and baseball should be accurate. It's just going to be basketball that'll change a little bit between now and the end of the year. Well, it'll change a lot. It'll be a whole nother season's worth of
Season,
registration. Yeah.
So looks like, I mean, 12 to 15,000 in revenue through fees. So.
And we discussed this in the Parks and Recreation Committee, how much of a reinvestment it is in the community to have a Parks and Recreation, because that's tuning our youngsters to be focusing sports instead of occupying their minds on other things. And then it gets them learning life lessons through sports and so on and so forth. So we feel like it's an investment, reinvestment within the community.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, recreation is never a money-making thing.
It's not.
It is an investment of the
Mindset.
town into the children of the town, so. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yes. We'll go back to events here. The 23 budget for events was $89,150 for 2023. We offer a variety of events throughout the year. What it takes to host these events is advertisement, event planning, equipment and supplies, contracting services such as band, sound production, Santa, the Easter Bunny, and managing sponsorships, facility maintenance, staff, and volunteers. And facility maintenance is definitely more along the lines of Trey's department, but it does fall in line with what we need for events. The events that we hosted for 23 were the Easter egg hunt, the Arbor Day tree planting, Silt on Sale, which we did a fall and a spring, or sorry, a silt cleanup, which we did a fall and a spring, and then Silt on Sale. We did 3 movies in the park. We did the bike rodeo. The town hosted the bike rodeo through the police department. There were 3 party at the pavilions, 8 farmers markets, and then we are getting ready to jump into Main Street Trick or Treat a week from tomorrow, and then the tree lighting on November 21st. And then in that picture up there as well, part of the little tiny events that kind of get stuck into things, there is, PD did the soda pop with a cup. So they did that during the farmers market, but it was an additional event that they hosted to try to do community outreach. The proposed budget for '24 is $98,750, which includes a 10% increase. And that was more to align with the additional budget that you as a board had given for bands for '23. We just added that into the budget for '24. Goals and objectives. My goal is to finalize band contracts in January, as I realized very quickly trying to do that mid-March, we had several. And when I say several, I'm talking like probably 9 different contracts fall through of bands that were going to come from Bon Jovi tributes to 80s tributes to it was a dance and show type of band, but if I can get everybody locked into a contract earlier, that would be ideal, because what was happening is I was in conversations, we were getting contract together, got it to them, and then at that point they were getting contacted by a lot of other people, and then they kind of pick and chose what they were going to make more money doing. I think the earlier we can get them locked in and get a signature on something, the more likely it is that they're going to honor that commitment rather than pulling out of it last minute. So that is a work in progress. I'm also looking to, as with anything that we do, increase participation, and that would be through additional advertising and continued community outreach. And we're also looking to build our volunteer base. We've partnered with Coleridge for events and the National Honor Society to have volunteers come help with things. And then we have a really amazing volunteer. Her name is Vivian, and she helped with the Main Street Trick or Treat and the tree lighting last year. And she called us again this year and would love to help again, said she had a ton of fun. And so we're looking to increase that volunteer base with our volunteers like Vivian, that you can give her a task and she can make it happen. And it's an amazing help in the middle of some of our larger events. I am looking to put an RFP out for sound production contracting. We've used a couple different sound production companies, and we're kind of working through some of those kinks and trying to figure out what's going to best serve the town for the events that we're doing for this upcoming year. We are looking to revamp the farmers market concept. The enrollment was low, and it's kind of that vicious cycle of we need vendors to draw people, but we need people to draw vendors. And so just trying to figure out what exactly that's going to look like for the future. We ended up doing our market on, and I'm sure that I've probably told many of you this before, but we ended up doing our market on Wednesdays to try to do opposite days of what our immediate neighbor towns were doing, with Glenwood being Tuesdays, Newcastle being Thursdays, Rifle being Fridays. Mondays are hectic for everybody, so we were like, okay, Wednesday, we'll do Wednesday. And then found out that Carbondale is also Wednesday, and thought that maybe there was enough distance between us and Carbondale to still draw vendors and draw a crowd, and that is inaccurate. A lot of the vendors that participate in Newcastle and Rifle would love to participate with us as well, but they're going to make more money up in Carbondale, so they are doing the Carbondale market on Wednesdays. That kind of leaves us a couple options that we just keep pushing forward the way that we are, but it's not as successful as it needs to be to continue to ask vendors to come out. or maybe we move to Mondays at the market and kind of do a play on words there, and hope that Mondays are not too chaotic for people, or we completely revamp and rethink the concept of doing a full farmers market. Do we combine it with something different? So any feedback or ideas that anybody has would be greatly appreciated, because we are definitely in conversations of what that's going to look like for this upcoming season. And then the other thing is that we've talked about is Silt is very child-centric. And so our most well-attended events have an element geared towards children. Our Main Street Trick or Treat event is huge, and it's geared towards children. The tree lighting has been better attended every year that we've been going, and we're incorporating more events around children, like the Sitting with Santa at the tree lighting and doing s'mores at the tree lighting. During the farmers markets that were better attended, we had brought a child element to it, such as the touch a truck and bringing the police cars and the fire truck for them to do something with. So I'm looking to figure out different ways to incorporate more for the children to do at all of our events, because if there's something for the children to do, I feel like people will come.
Well, it makes it easier for parents with young kids to come to stuff if there's things to occupy the kid while they're doing the other stuff.
It does, yes.
I always saw the face painting, huge lines over and over, like bring two face painters.
Yes,
on
yes.
paydays.
Yep, and then in the picture there is probably one of my favorite things that I've seen at one of our party at the pavilions. It had rained prior to, like a couple days in a row prior to our last concert, and parents came, and the fields were still kind of wet. It had dried out enough, but the baseball diamond was wet, and the kiddos found it, and they loved it. And it got to the point that parents were like, it's fine. I'm just going to enjoy the music. If that keeps them busy, then that keeps them busy. But they probably had just about the best time that they've ever had, and they were like loving life, just digging into the dirt and splashing, and they were covered. I was like, there's a lot of kids walking home tonight.
So mud pit at the farmer's market.
Yes.
You solved your own problem.
They would come, yes.
Truck shows up, blasts a little
Yeah.
mud.
Yeah. But it's that kind of stuff that if there's something for the children to do, the parents will stay and they will be involved, and we will get that community involvement that I'm hoping to increase this upcoming year.
With increasing that, we talk about, I'm thinking, maybe we do, maybe we didn't do it. I can't remember if I saw the text messages. Do we do the text my gov for people that are on those days of the events and stuff, just to remind people?
We do.
Yeah, I've seen it, yes.
I thought we could, but I couldn't remember for sure, because I'm notoriously bad about, like, Wednesday night I get home, I've made dinner and I went, it was one of the few times I was home early enough and I forgot that it was going on, so that I didn't make it down to the market.
Yes.
And
Yep.
so that type of stuff, getting a text message or something during that day reminds you to, oh yeah, that is today,
It does help.
because we
prompt.
all get busy.
And that's true, and that's why I try to boost it on Facebook the day of the event, even though people are like, why the day of the event? I'm like, well, it was posted like 2 months ago also, and continually it posted, but I try to boost it the day of the event just so that it reminds people that it's at the top of people's social media feeds, that we can try to, in the days of like our larger events, we take everything else off of the LED sign and just put multiple slides of advertising just for that event that day of, so that it kind of reminds people, because I forget things. I'll go home and be like, oh my gosh, I was going to do that. I completely missed it.
Is day of when you do the ad spend on Facebook?
The ad spend? No.
You just reload it organically?
I just myself boost it on all the community pages and go through, excuse me, but like for the Main Street Trick or Treat, I did create an ad. And so that will run continuously for 10 days prior to the event. So that should be running now with the ad. And so just spending that little bit of extra money on the advertisement side of that, I want to say it was $50, and it'll boost it to over 1,000 people a day for 10 days. And so hoping that that's just enough to keep that at the top of people's social media feeds, to keep reminding everybody of what's coming up.
Wonder if it would be worth it to try a similar model for movie nights and farmers market and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, what was
And
it,
it's a Friday,
50,
though.
$500, $50?
It was $50
I mean,
to boost it.
the
Yeah.
cost of trying it is extremely low.
Yep. Yeah. So it's just trying to find other ways to boost that advertisement, such as that. We did go. Angelo, still kind of learning the ropes with everything and wanting to increase his community outreach and introduce himself to people in the community. On Friday, he did take flyers around to all of our businesses with all of the Main Street Trick or Treat information, all of the tree lighting information. He went around, introduced himself to everybody, and hung flyers at the gas stations and got the word out, like physically, hand and paper in hand in the community. And so we're trying different things like that we're hoping are, at this point, we're willing to try whatever we can to help boost that advertisement.
Have you thought about speaking with the Align folks, just to like steal some of their time from the Discover So one of those conversations and
Yes.
just gain some intelligence on, hey, how are other communities doing this? And maybe it influences what we do next year.
Yes, I have talked to Katie a little bit, and she's boosting stuff on Discover Sill as well, thinking that that's going to help. She was kind of with the mindset that there's just a lot of towns trying to do a lot of events, and sometimes you are just focusing on putting that out to your community. But I would love any and all feedback, and I'll reach out to her again. And maybe
That's
Jason,
really-
and see if he has any
Jason
ideas.
would be the guy.
Yeah.
Because I think the focus would be best spent on social. It's already a captive audience, it's an interested audience, that's why they're subscribed.
Yes.
To your point, Justin, it's just they either forget or they're busy day of. 72 hours earlier gives them 2 or 3 days for it to surface when they look at it.
Yes.
I think that could shift behavior.
And if we can add the children component to it,
Right.
maybe alternate between bringing a
Mud,
clown,
face
balloon
painting.
clown for one night, face painting another night,
Mud
and
pits.
then what other ideas, like regular
Yeah,
clown
mud pits
another
for the
night.
kids.
Yeah, well, Jeff and I were working to get a foam pit at one of the farmers markets, and it kind of fell through last minute, which was a big bummer. But we had talked about how cool that will be to bring that to one of our events this upcoming
that-
season.
And then social
Those
media
foam,
advertise.
those foam parties are super fun.
So we do mud, foam, fire department,
There you go.
Yes.
we're all good.
Just make sure you
All at
check
the
the
same
phone.
time. Check the foam?
That's where all the PFAS in the river's coming from, is foam, like firefighting foam and things like that, so
Oh, really?
make
you're
sure
such
they're
a
using the
killjoy.
correct foam.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That type of
Come on, man.
Well,
I was thinking it was like
foam
foam.
that kids are playing
balls
with.
or
Helping
something,
kids
but
again,
no,
looks like
Like bubbles.
Melts the
Okay.
children.
Yeah,
That
bubble
type.
pit. Yeah.
Sorry,
Even I'm
don't mean to
having
burst
fun
your
with
bubble,
the
but
ideas.
Where's the little drum?
I used to have a friend,
Yes.
she lived in Newcastle, but she was the one who did the face painting at all the fairs, but she moved to Washington State
You
like
had
2 years ago. You made me think of it when you
Yes.
mentioned it a minute ago.
Yep.
Are there going to be fireworks at the tree lighting?
There are. Yes.
Nice.
That's a big draw, too.
New and improved,
Yeah.
Good improved.
fingers crossed. If everything comes
Did not
together.
sound
Yes.
confident.
And then as far as events, issues and concerns are the low participation, inflation costs, which is what is the struggle that we hit with a lot of bands, even down to people wanting reimbursements for food and the hospitality, and everything is just, the price of everything is increasing, and it makes it more difficult. And then trying to find ways to cut costs to ensure events can still be kept free for our community is a big goal of ours. And I believe that is all that I have for events. If anybody has any questions.
Thanks, Nicole. Very informative.
Good.
Sure.
Have we reached out to the vendors to combine with movie night? Because that seems to be fairly well attended.
So I have not reached out to them about combining with anything, but movie night is a good idea. Because that depends on what movie, but if there's a couple new kid movies that are coming out here over the next couple months that will be available by summer. So we'll have some well-attended movie nights. So that's a good idea.
Have you discussed, Trey and Nicole, the idea that you guys had for the Veterans Park? Or is that something you want to bring it up, of the new station for the band? Or is that something you guys are going to bring it up later?
So that was such a preliminary conversation. I don't know that we were expecting to bring that up now.
So don't, that's fine. They have exciting ideas that they want to
Gazebo?
tell us. They'll tell us later. It's exciting, and I really think it's going to boost the attendance down the line, and that will probably be a 2026, 2025 plan, but I'm just overly excited that I just had to say something. So, yeah. Sorry. He's
That's all right.
curious.
No,
That's
you're
great.
fine. I'm,
We're
I'm,
still vetting it all out. and-
I'm
Yep.
excited to have something new over there and, replace the old thing that's slowly.
Yeah, it sounds really good, so.
Yeah. Give everybody
be
something to look
determined
forward
to
to
be
hearing
announced.
about.
And then just something to combine with the concert would possibly just do a food drive for Lift Up along with the concert, because I know they're hurting and a lot of people like to support them, so you come down with a can of food.
Yes.
It's $1 to get in, or you bring a can of food. And then we can waive the
Like
dollar
that.
fee if you don't bring a can of food, just show up anyway.
Well, no, doing things like that, that's even like a journey home, a lot of those different
Yeah.
things. Because if you tag your event with something else, especially like, say like Journey Home, that might bring more people from Rifle over because that's in Rifle and some of that kind of stuff, so that's a great idea, Mayor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could even donate that dollar you collect to the food drive.
I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah. So
Yeah, free with the can.
Highwater Farms would be another one. There's probably dozens of them that could all willingly get engaged for mutual benefit.
Yeah,
I
'cause
think
you're gonna
that's
get
a
their-
great idea,
their advertisement and their contact list comes with that partnership.
for sure. It's a brilliant idea.
Still. Slide
The only
your
other
movie
thing I
at the
have is
Highland
we went and listened to a great band called the Oxymorons. We've had them here before, I think.
We did.
They sound
They
familiar, yeah.
opened for
So-
us this summer.
So they played a concert just themselves, and they really got into it, and it was an amazing high energy concert. So
Was it great?
yeah,
It's an interesting name.
yeah, 90s music.
Good.
Yeah, they are fun.
They're good.
They had some good hits.
Yeah. Okay. That's
And yeah, and even the farmer's market, if you did it, like Louis suggested, at an event you don't have every week, maybe that would help. Like the movie
Yeah.
night.
Yeah. Movies on the market.
Oh, movies on the
Do
market.
all sorts of
There
play
you
on
go.
words here.
Yeah.
Twofer,
Movies on the market on Monday.
and
Hey.
mud, and mud, lots of mud.
With
Mud, yeah, and mud.
Movies in mud, huh?
There you
On
go.
Monday.
yeah.
Let's not do mud at Veterans Park, please.
The market. Then do the market and then start the movie when the vendors are leaving. That's an exceptional idea.
Yeah.
And we could have a show at the splash pad.
Yes, definitely. That's a must.
2027, 2037?
Funny silk.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, after the kids have fun in the mud, they go to the splash pad and
Oh,
clean
yeah.
off, and there you go. Yeah, so,
Then we can rebuild pumps weekly, and yeah.
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 Awesome, well, that sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicole.
Everybody that presented tonight.
Thank you.
There's a lot.
Trey.
I think
Yeah.
you needed to talk longer, you two.
We can take a 10-minute recess.
take
Yeah, we could.
Little break in
Yeah,
between.
Don't say we don't have to fill every
use
minute,
the
do we?
facilities here, and yeah.
I'll be okay with that.
Probably not.
Yes.
Fill up my water bottle.
All right.
Yeah, let's take a 10-minute break then.